What's up guys, how you doing? So today's a different video. I don't have the Cadillac today, but I'm doing it on my other car that I bought a couple months ago. It's a 1987 Pontiac Fiero SE with a V6. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the car, show you some pictures, tell you how I got it, and yeah, just tell you about the car. So this car is a 1987 Pontiac Fiero SE. I bought it in, I think it was the end of October of last year, so October of 2017. And I bought it from a family friend. Now it turns out they wanted $2,800. I said, okay, I could probably do that. So I got to thinking, I looked the car over, you know. So when I got the car, I didn't have much work to do to it. It didn't need that much. The only things, there was a few things wrong with it. The left turn signal was not working. So like the left parking light would not work. There was a wiring issue. So I looked at that for a little bit. I had to take it to a shop. They fixed it because I didn't want to tear into the wiring. The temperature gauge was not working. I replaced the gauge, and I also replaced the fuel gauge. It was running really rough when I first got it, and you could tell there was something wrong with it. It wasn't running smoothly. I got to work on the car the first weekend I got it. So first thing I did is I replaced the distributor cap. I did not replace the rotor. I replaced the spark plugs, and I replaced the spark plug wires. So about a couple weeks later I changed the fuel filter. The fuel filter wasn't hard, it's right under the passenger side. It's not too out of a job, just 2 bolts, pop it off, pop it back on. Pull the fuse, run the engine out of gas, start it, and then start it up again. So that wasn't too hard. I did that and it still had the issue. Well, it turns out it was a bad fuel injector. Now, this car I mentioned is the V6. And it makes, it's not going to sound like a lot, but it makes 140 to 150 horsepower and 170 foot-pounds of torque at 3,600 RPM. Now this thing revs to 6,000 RPM. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to remember, this is a 30-year-old car, and that's pretty good for being a 30-year-old car. It's actually pretty fast. Like, this car keeps up with modern cars of today. Now, why did I buy this car? Well, like I said, I always thought it was cool, like the way it looked. 80s cars are either hit or miss with people, Some people love them, some people hate them. And I'm known, 80s American cars are not known for their good quality. But the one thing that got me is the pop-up headlights. I love the pop-up headlights, and I love the quad exhaust. This car is all original. The interior is well taken care of. It's in great shape. There's no cracking. It's the original paint. I mean, the paint's a little wear. The paint's wearing a little bit. You can kind of see how it's fading. The spoiler is fading a little bit. So eventually I'm going to repaint this car. But as of right now, like from far away, you can't tell the difference. It looks great. It's got the original wheels on it too. It's got original 14-inch stock wheels. And I think I was going to change them, but I think they look really cool for what they are. It's that 80s look. I really like that. Yeah, the factory radio works. The only thing I did was I bought an FM transmitter to play my Spotify through my phone with a 3.5mm aux jack. That's great. So that works well. I thought about replacing it with an aftermarket radio head unit. I'm not going to do that. This car was also undercoated. The car is protected, which is really nice. The original owner kept all the service records. I'll show you those in this video. He kept all the service records. He has the original manual. I mean, all records for this car were kept. They took really great care of this car. And I'm really glad they did, because usually these cars, when they're found, are piles of shit. But this car is mid-engine rear-wheel drive. and it is fun. For a 30-year-old car, it takes corners really well. It handles really well, it's really nimble, it's really darty. It's very fun. It's not crazy fast, but it's fast enough to be fun. Now this engine, you know, in this car, a lot of people swap this out with like the 3800 supercharged motor, the Cadillac 4.9 liter. Some people even put North Star engines in here, but I'm not going to do that because those engines are crap. Some people even LS swap these Fieros, which that would be a little hard to do. Before they canceled this car, there was a 1989/1990 second generation Fiero prototype that they made. And it looked pretty cool. I think they only made like 3 or 4 of them, or 2 or 3 of them, I'm not sure. But they're all destroyed now. GM destroyed them. But there's pictures online if you Google them. They look pretty cool. They look like a mini version of the 4th generation Pontiac Trans Am Firebird. So the other things I've done to this car is I replaced the fuel filter, I told you. I've also replaced the front brake calipers. When I first got the car, you'd hit the brakes and the car would dart to the left every time you hit the brakes, which is not good. So, you know, I jacked it up, took it off the front wheels. I looked at the brake calipers. And the front brake calipers were seizing, they were locking up, they wouldn't retract. You'd hit the brakes, they'd push out, and they'd not retract. So I replaced the calipers. They were like 40 bucks a piece. Not bad. I got them through Napa. They were not bad at all. The brake pads, I did not replace the brake pads. They have plenty of pads on them left still. You know, they don't need to be replaced. The other thing I did to this car is a couple weeks ago actually. I replaced the heater core. Future plans for this car, I'm thinking I want to eventually swap the motor, but I'm in no rush to do that. This motor has 60,000 miles on it. You know, it's plenty of fun the way it is. I think before I modify this car, I'm going to work on the Cadillac. I'd like to rebuild the Caddy 500 engine. So eventually, in a couple of years, I plan on putting the 3800 supercharged Series 2 engine in here. And I might replace the stock wheels with aftermarket wheels. I think there's a company called Drag that makes really nice black 18-inch wheels, and they look really good. I also want to tint the windows, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, subscribe to it. I'll try to post more videos of this car and my other car, the 1975 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. You can check out the rest of the videos on my channel. See you next time.